Okay, in this video I'm going to attempt to show you a pattern that supports my other videos on how the rapture is in 2025 and that there is only a 3.5 year Jacob's trouble, which the Bible repeatedly says because Jesus took the 3.5 years, the first 3.5 years, and he was the one who confirmed the covenant. Galatians 3:17. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of God in Christ, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect. Christians have been told that it's a future covenant with the Antichrist. That is not true. And that's why we only read about 42 months in the book of Revelation. There's only 3.5 years left. But this pattern I was led to look these things up. And what I found is that this is absolutely amazing. It's a secret. It's a pattern. Something that you can't just know on your own. You have to be led to put these dots together. And it was all God that led me to this. So the Hebrew year that we are in is 5783. That is 2023. So last year would have been 5782, 2022, and so on, all the way down to 5789, which is 2029. And what I did, being led to test this out to see if there was anything there, that I took the Hebrew year and I went to the Strong's Concordance. And what a Strong's Concordance is, right here, is it gives you every definition of every word in the King James Bible in Hebrew and Greek. And usually you find a word that you want and you look it up and you find the number that it's under and you go to it. But in this case, I have the numbers. I have no idea what the words are going to be that land under these numbers, because again, my foundation is the Hebrew year that we are in. And I looked for a pattern, and I 100% found something that I don't think anybody knows about, unless they do, but I've never seen this. And so the reason that I'm starting from 2022, which is year 5782 in the Hebrew, is because for 2022 to 2029 is the 7-year Shemitah, a 7-year cycle that the Hebrews, on the Hebrew calendar that God goes by and that he made up in the Old Testament, that is still recognized today and that is still used. So I went to the number 5782 in the Hebrew year, which is 2022 in retrospect. And what fell under that number is to open the eyes to awake. To wake. And so what I did is I looked at the next 6 years, so a total of 7 years, to see if I could see any pattern, and what I found is incredible. So the next year, 5783 or 2023, says to be made naked. And the next year, 5784, which is 2024, it's chaff. And 5785, 2025, is leather skins or hide. Then 5786, 2026, to blind, film over eyes, to blind. 5787, 2027, blind men. 2028, 5788, is blind. And 2029, which is 5789 in the Hebrew year, to assemble self. Now, I couldn't figure this out a while back. I couldn't figure out the whole thing. But I saw pieces of the truth. I saw a pattern from Eden and Adam and Eve. But there was a couple that I couldn't figure out. But God showed me tonight. That's why I'm making this video. So we know in the garden, to open the eyes to wake, that is what happened when they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil in Genesis chapter 3. And then after that it says that they knew that they were naked, to be made naked. There you go. And then the next year is chaff. And that's what they were. They were dead. They were chaff. They were dead because they sinned. And then the next thing that happened in the garden, which is 2025, leather skins. God put, and this is quoting verbatim from the King James, he put skins on them. So I saw this pattern. I go, oh my gosh, it's all about the Garden of Eden, and it's matching up with the years that we're in. And then the next amazing thing to me, because I know that the rapture is in 2025, which would be the year that the skins pop up, which is number 5785 or 2025. So we went through this whole pattern, then we get to 2025, where I've been saying the rapture is, and we get leather skins. And what was that? It was to cover their nakedness from the garden. And bam, that is a picture of the rapture. To be covered, to be changed. Okay? That is a picture of the rapture. 1 Corinthians 15. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall all be changed. That's what this pattern is. So that's 4 years. Now the next amazing thing to support my view of the 2025 rapture is the next 3 years. Look at what they mean. To blind is 2026 with the film over the eyes. 2027 is blind men and blind people. 2028, blind and blindness. And 2029 is a symbol self. That's when Christ gathers his elect from the four winds of the earth. You see, after the rapture, after we are changed in 2025, the world is blinded. Blind, blind, blind. And then a symbol self. You see, because God has 42 months left with Israel, and he's going to be dealing with them. And he will assemble them from the four winds of earth, like it says in Revelation chapter 6 and the sixth seal. But let me tell you guys, the thing that is absolutely incredible is to look at this, how it all falls together perfectly. And it all falls together perfectly in the year sequence that we are in right now, the 7 years that we are in, the Shemitah. From 2022 to 2029, we have this pattern that tells all. I actually showed you 8 years here, and the pattern even goes beyond this. But this is the most amazing part of this pattern. And it's a pattern that is exactly, goes back to the garden. Because Isaiah 46:10 says that God declares the end from the beginning. And it's going all the way back to the very beginning in the garden. 2022, open the eyes to awake. 23, be made naked after their eyes were open. 24, their chaff. 25, leather skins. That's the rapture. When God put the skins on them to cover their nakedness. 26, blind. 27, blind. 28, blind. And 29, to assemble self. This is a great mystery, guys. This is something, this is Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings to search out a matter. I was led to search these things out a long time ago, but I couldn't figure out the leather skins one, and I couldn't figure out the chaff one. Because I saw the eyes, open the eyes to awake, that reminded me of the garden. And then after, to be made naked, I said, there's a garden pattern there. But then the chaff I kind of saw, right? But they were chaff after they were naked and their eyes were open. So they were chaff. But then the leather skins, that's the one I didn't know. But the other day I was reading Genesis, looking it up. And it had nothing to do with what I'm doing today. But this stuck in my mind. And so then today when I thought of this, the skins were put on him. It says skins. After they were naked and their eyes were open and they were chaff. And that's a picture of being changed. God putting the skins over Adam and Eve. That's a picture of us being changed. The rapture. And then, next 3 years, blind, blind, blind. And then Christ assembles himself, his people here on earth. That's crazy. That's crazy. I couldn't believe, because, you know, you look these things up on a whim. You're like, well, I wonder if there's a pattern there. And for something to pan out as perfect as this, I just showed you guys a great mystery. This is amazing to me. So if you guys haven't watched my last video, Christ Confirmed the Covenant, Rapture 2025, please go watch it. There's a lot of good information there. We have been lied to. It's not that I'm teaching new things. It's that you cannot... New things will pop up when God reveals new mysteries. That's how the Bible is. It's not for all times and all people. Some things, it's like Daniel said, that are sealed up until the end. But the books are opening and God is revealing things to his prophets. And so I'm not teaching anything new. The problem is that we've been lied to about a lot of things. So you might hear something that you never heard, but it's because we've been lied to. So it's not a new teaching, it's just a correct teaching. Like my last video, Christ Confirmed the Covenant. Not a lot of people understand or know, have been told that Daniel 9:26 and 27 is talking about Christ confirming a covenant, which is Galatians 3:17 and Romans 15:8. He confirmed the covenant, the law, and also the covenants of promise when he came. So these things are amazing to me, and little channel like this, just trying to get the word out. Thank you.